VI Department of Education family, welcome to the VIDE's 2020-2021 Employee Professional Development Conference. One of my goals as commissioner is to develop a work culture of learning and growth. Research shows that employees with professional development opportunities are 15% more engaged. Additionally, the data says that organizations that offer professional development has a 34% higher retention of staff. Very important to keep great talent and support the growth of employees in the workplace. These are facts I believe to be true from my own experiences. I firmly believe that employees are the #1 asset of this department. Without you, student programs do not actualize, and services to our vendors are not executed. Your level of satisfaction and confidence as an employee is important to me because it contributes to your progress, peace of mind, and effectiveness on the job. Remember, no matter our roles, we are united in a singular goal to ensure student success. This series of professional development is a first of its kind at the VIDE. It was specifically developed and designed to educate employees on the tools and resources that all employees utilize at the VIDE. I look forward to hearing about your experience today, as well as the other areas in which you would like to have additional professional development. Please also invite and encourage your family and friends to participate in the department's 2020-2021 Parent and Community Conference, which have been especially designed for them. Remember, together we can transform public education in the Virgin Islands. Enjoy today's session.
In receiving emails. It also have other functions such as calendaring, contact managing, task managing, and note taking. All right, so some of you may not have touched on that, but I'm going to touch on that a little bit just today. Next slide. All right, so there are many versions of Outlook installing your computer, installing your phones. But today we're going to be focusing only on the Office 365 web-based version. Okay, this is the version that particularly most people are using. So we're going to actually focus on just this one. We actually have a subscription with Microsoft, and that gives us the web-based version, which is somewhat of a limited version. You do have the full version in these versions here, but we basically can do anything that, you know, we set out to do for our divisions in the web-based version. So we're going to be focusing on only on the web-based version. All right, next slide. Okay, so for the basics now. All right, we said we had a lot of 5s, we had a lot of 4s, we had some 1s in there. All right, so for the basics, what we're going to work on is how to create an email. Everybody should know how to do that, how to reply and forward a message, how to add an attachment. Some of you may not know how to do that, and how to add email importance and how to add read receipts. Okay, on the next slides, I do have a screenshot of every single detail of how to do this, but I'm going to actually go hands-on so you guys can actually see how it's actually done. Okay, so at this moment, I'm going to actually share my screen. All right, so can everybody see my screen at this moment?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Ms. Graham, can you allow me access to share my screen?
Yes.
I'm seeing something now.
Okay, perfect. All right, so you guys can see the VIDE webpage?
Yes.
All right,
Yes, we
perfect.
can.
Yes.
All right, so the best place to actually access your Office 365 email is from the VIDE website. And if you didn't know, the option is right here. You click on that link, the very top here. Just take a moment. So I'm already logged in here. And the very first thing that we want to do is work on how to compose a message in Outlook, all right? So let me just take a step back here. Okay, so in the list of basics, so to send a message, you basically click on where it says new message. We have the to section here, which is who the sender will be actually sending to. We have the options here of selecting all the recipients here. So I'm just gonna click on one person here. And if I wanted to add another user, basically all I just have to do is just continue typing, all right? That's as simple as that, all right? And for the CC, does anybody know, just to, in the chat, does anybody know what the CC stands for? I know you may have used this before. What does CC stand for?
Carbon copy.
Copy.
Carbon copy, that's correct. All right. So the carbon copy is basically a copy of the message sent to the initial recipient at the top. And you do that the same way as actually just selecting this recipient here. All right. But what about BCC? What is BCC?
Blind carbon copy.
Blind carbon copy. All right. So why would you use a blind carbon copy? Anybody knows exactly, real quickly? Why would you use a blind carbon copy?
You don't want to let the other person, you don't want to let the others know where you're sending the email to. So they can't see the other email.
Correct, correct. All right. So basically, if you actually add this option here by just clicking it, you're actually adding a blind recipient. So that means that the recipients from the to section as well as the carbon copy section cannot see who's receiving on the BCC end. Okay. So that's what you call a blind carbon copy. Okay. So we have the subject here as well. You add your subject in your email. Of course, this is where you add your email message. Okay. And then we have to attach an email. Anybody know where do we attach an email? Where do we go to attach?
Top right here.
All right. So we
It can be it can be two places.
Yes. All right. So what is an indication of an attachment? What do we use? What symbol is used for an indication for attachment?
Paper clip.
Correct, correct, correct. So we have the option here at the very top, and we also have it at the bottom. All right. So anytime you see a paper clip, that also indicates there is an attachment. Okay. So I'm just gonna attach a file real quick. This makes it easy here. Just something small. All right. Okay. So how do we add email importance? Anybody know how do we add email importance?
No, don't know.
All right. So those fires.
Go to the 3 ellipses.
All right. The 3 ellipses here. This actually indicates more actions. Okay. So anytime you see this section here, it means that you have more actions. You have more options here. So you can click here. All right. And when you set the importance, this is where you can set the importance of a message. Okay. So right now it's set as default at normal. But once you actually indicate high, it's going to indicate an exclamation point for your message. So the recipient is actually going to see in their inbox an exclamation point when they're actually receiving this message. All right. So again, it's at the top at the ellipses. Good catch, that person. And you want to set it to high. At no point I've ever seen anybody put it at low. I don't see the reasoning for that. So you choose between normal and high. Okay. So in this case, I'm just going to put it high. And then the next option is to actually create a read receipt. A lot of people skip this option or didn't know about this option, but it's in the same place. We go back again with the little ellipses. Click on that. All right, so in this section, I just click on it, says show message options. And
Excuse me, Mr. Williams, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm asking everyone to please mute your mics. There was quite a bit of distortion. Please mute your mics. Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
No problem, thank you. All right, so from here, you want to choose the sensitivity of the message. You can do that. It's an option, but you don't need to. You could actually choose where it's a normal message, a personal message, private message, confidential, you know, but in this case, normal is fine. And this is where you would actually add that option to request a read receipt. Okay, so I'm gonna actually put that in here. And I'm just gonna send it to myself so you guys can actually see what that looks like. All right, so I'm sending it to myself. I have it at high importance. I have an attachment and I have a read receipt. So I'm gonna actually send this message. There's two ways to send this message, from here as well as from here. Go ahead and hit send.
I don't know if it's just me, Mr. Williams, are you is your screen frozen?
Yes, he's frozen. I cannot hear him.
Okay, yeah, I think we were having some issues there, Mr. Williams, if you're. I don't know if we lost you.
I think so.
We lost him because he's not in the participant list, and both things have gone dark.
Yeah, it looked
Okay,
like
thank
he
you.
froze.
Okay, thank you. I'll see if
You're much welcome.
he would rejoin.
I think he's still there.
All right, everyone, please stand by. I'll try to reach him, see what's happening. Thanks.
I'm not sure what's happening, but
Okay, we can hear you
Can you hear
now.
me?
You're back. We can hear you now much clearer, but we can't see you, but we can hear you.
yeah, I'm not sure what just happened there, but I lost connection. I could not share my screen. I just froze up 1 second.
Yeah, We're-
It's coming back shortly. It's coming back little bit by little bit. I'm not sure what happened.
okay.
Could you guys hear me in the
Yes.
background?
Yes, I
No,
can
we-
hear you, but we cannot
I
see
can
you.
hear you.
Okay. Is my screen still sharing? Because I can't even see if my screen is sharing
You're
still.
still in
Yes,
share
yes,
screen. You're
yes.
still in share screen.
Okay.
Just have one, I need 3 and 4 and 5.
Everyone kindly mute your mics in the meantime.
Okay, it looks like it's back up now. It could have been my connection, maybe. I'm not sure what happened. I think my connection probably dropped. All right, so can you guys still see my inbox?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see, we can see.
Okay. Okay, I think that helped. All right, sorry about that, guys. So what I did is I actually sent an email to myself. And basically what I was demonstrating is that I sent the email to myself. I set it with high importance. So as you can see, as I hover over it, I have the exclamation point. I have the paper clip that actually shows that I do have an attachment. And in some cases, it actually shows a brief image, a small image of the attachment, all right? And if I click here on the email itself, this is where I respond for a read receipt. You guys can see that at the bottom?
Mm,
So this is where I would click here. So this is where I would tell the sender that yes, and they will receive an email just like that, basically indicating that the email was read and received. Okay? So if you want to confirm that somebody got an email, that is your best option to ensure that they receive that email. All right, so everybody got that section so far? I apologize for that
Yes, we did.
delay.
Yes, we got it.
All right, so let's go back to the presentation 1 second. That was actually the basics. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and go back to the PowerPoint slide. We discussed blind carbon copy and carbon copy. And next slide. All right, this is a section that we did not touch on, which is the reply. All right, so if you see here, this indication here, that left arrow actually indicates you're replying only to the sender. Okay, so if you're a recipient of an email in the to section and you want to reply only to the sender, this is the option that you would indicate. If you want to reply to everyone in the email, you would actually reply to with this double arrow to the left. All right. All right, and then to forward an email, you would actually click on this option here, the arrow that points to the right. That's the option to forward an email. Okay. And as we saw, the ellipsis here, the 3 dots, this is actually indicates more actions available. Okay, so next slide. Okay, again, we touched on attaching a document. You could go ahead and hit next slide. All right, and with the ellipses, the more actions buttons, we actually set the importance. Next slide. And we also added the read receipt, making sure that we click the checkbox for request a read receipt, and then click OK. Next slide. All right, and right now, I don't know if you guys actually noticed, I have a email signature on my page. Most of you may not have this. So I'm gonna actually go real quickly to actually show you how to create your own signature for your emails, okay? Let me see if I can do that by sharing my screen once again. All right, so as you noticed here, I have a signature, email signature for my email. And if you wanted to create this for yourself, basically what you would do is you would click on the settings buttons at the very top here. So at the very top, I will click on settings. Okay. And then I will scroll down to where it says view all Outlook settings. So view all Outlook settings. And on the left side, on the mail tab, so I click on the mail tab, make sure I'm on the mail tab. I click where it says compose and reply. Okay. And in this section, this is where I can create my own email signature. All right, so just like in Microsoft Word, you have the basic, tools here to create your document, bold, italic, underline, center, left align, right align, and I can make any change from here. All right, so I'm just gonna make a change here. All right. And what you wanna indicate here is that you wanna automatically include my signature on new messages that I compose, as well as automatically include my signature on messages I forward or reply to. All right, you have the option to, choose one or the other, but your best bet is actually just selecting both. Once I make that change, I hit save. All right, so it's already saved. I already have one in there. So once I hit save, I X that out. And then in my new messages now, I should see my change. So you see, I just changed my years from 20 years to 21 years. And you can see it's already updated. All right, so that's very simple. It's very, very much at the top here where it says settings, and you make that change from there. All right. All right, so let's go back to the presentation slide. Stop sharing my screen. And again, all the steps are right here in the presentation. All right, next slide. Okay, so everybody has an inbox, and most of you probably have tons and tons of email and don't know how to organize your email box. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna show you several different ways to organize your inbox. Those who are at a 5 at their level, I'm gonna see if you guys actually know this. All right, so first, creating folders. Yes, some of you may be creating folders. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. Rules, how to create rules to manage incoming calls. Incoming emails, sorry. You guys may have been doing that, but I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. But how many of you have been sweeping your inbox to sort receive emails? I am not sure if all of you have been doing that. This is the best route to actually organize your inbox. So I'm gonna actually show you guys how to do that. This is something that you definitely wanna look at in terms of organizing your box, because it's very, very helpful. Yeah, I see somebody in the chat talk about clutter as well, but this is actually better than clutter. All right, we're gonna discuss that in the question and answer. All right, so next slide. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna actually do this within the browser. This is actually better to do than actually doing it from the presentation. So I'm gonna share my screen once again. Sorry, Miss Graham. I wanna do that one more time again. So we're gonna first try to organize our box by using rules. Okay, so basically what the rule does, it actually takes my incoming email or my future emails, and it tells me, it gives me options in terms of creating a folder and putting them in a particular folder, or it can tell me, hey, I don't need this is junk, I can send it straight to the trash. All right, so I'm going to show you how to use that option. I know the best thing that you probably want to work on is maybe the public relations emails. That's probably something you want to create and put in a folder, and to better organize your box. I know we get a whole lot of them. Thank you, Ms. Graham, for that. But I see we have another employee as well sending some public relations stuff. But if I wanted to actually organize this, there's an easier way. So what I'm going to do, the best way to do it is actually to select one of the emails. So I'm going to actually select it here. All right. And you want to right click on the email. So I'm going to right click on an email, and I'm going to hit create rule. Okay. So if I already had a folder, I can just select, let's put this in that public relations folder. But in this option, I do not have a folder. So I'm going to actually create a folder. So we're going to actually click where it says more options. All right. And so basically it actually is saying here that all my messages from the public relations, I'm going to add a condition. It's already there, public relations. And so I'm going to add an action. All right. So I'm going to actually have it move to. So I'm going to click where it says if I want to move it to a folder, move to, select the folder. And if I scroll at the bottom here, this is where I can add the folder. So I'm going to click on add folder here, new folder, and I'm going to call it public relations. Hit public relations, I hit enter. All right. So what that does, it actually moves all the emails, all the incoming emails to public relations. So once I hit save, I have now a rule that all my email messages, all the incoming emails from public relations will now go to the public relations folder. So I'm going to X this out. And if I go to my folders here, I should have a folder that says public relations. All right. Notice here now that I do not have anything in the folder. All right. I do not have anything in the folder because it is actually going to create a rule for all the future coming public relations emails. But what if I wanted to actually pull all those emails in there and actually add them to that folder? I'm not going to do that one by one, of course not. All right. So your next option is to sweep it. All right. So the rule is set that all the future incoming emails from public relations are going to be in this box. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually sweep all those emails in that folder. So I'm going to go back to my inbox. All right. I'm going to go to the public relations email. Once again, I'm just going to select it. And in this option, I'm going to sweep it. So I'm going to click at the top where it says sweep. All right. So I want to move all the messages from public relations, move all the messages from the inbox, and I'm going to move it to, now we already have a folder. All right. So it's not in here. So I want to move it to a different folder. So I'm looking for public relations. So I clicked on public relations. So now I have it set that all emails from public relations, I'm going to move it to, click OK. All right. So all of my messages, if I click on the left side here, it's taking a little while because I have quite a few. All right. So it swept all the messages. If you see now, it's taking a little while for me. All my messages from public relations are now being swept into the folder. And like every second is populating more and more and more. All right, so now my emails from public relations are not cluttering my inbox. Okay. All right, the only thing that you want to bear in mind is that if I create a rule for all my public relations emails, I want to make sure that I actually check this folder, because now the emails are not going to be going to my inbox. They're going to go directly to my public relations box folder. All right, you guys caught that? So the 207 indicate that I did not read all of them, you know, but I did read them. It's actually on my cell phone that I actually read them. but this actually shows how many emails we got from public relations, and all of them were actually pulled into this folder. All right, so that's called a sweep. So I have a rule as well as a sweep of all the public relations documents. Okay. All right, so let me go back to the presentation just to make sure that everybody got that one, because that one is crucial. Yes.
I have a question.
Well, let's hold it for the end. Let's hold it for the end. I'm going to try to see if I could cover as much as I can. I know I've ran out of time. I'm not sure how much time do I have left, but I want to give time for question and answer. I know you guys have questions. So let's go quickly to the presentation. Ms. Graham. I have one more section that I want to cover, and I don't think I have much time. So I'm going to see if I can go through it very, very quickly. All right, so I'm gonna actually show that. So the first thing we actually did is we actually created a rule. All right, and once again, everything is in here. So if you follow this step by step, you can actually create this without any problems at all. All right, so this is creating rules, slide number 1. Next slide. All right, so it shows that we went to more options, we added more options, and we clicked OK. Next slide. All right, and then it actually showed that we applied an action on line 3 here. The action was to move it and create a folder for public relations. Let me hit save. So next slide. All right, and then at the very end, we have that option where it says move all public relations documents, and we created the folder here, and we click OK. And this is where we were able to actually create the rule. Sorry. Okay. And next message. Next slide. Sorry. I think I missed a slide. Did I miss a slide? Can we go back 1 second? I think I may have missed a slide here. Oh, go to 3. We skipped a slide. I think it's supposed to be 4. Go forward. Sorry. No, you're going back. 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4 for the last step. Okay, I may have missed the last slide. So, but if you go back to the previous slide, sorry. So basically the last slide was just indicating that we hit save, and it showed that there was a rule for that, those messages as we saw it, okay? And then the next slide is the sweep. This is where we created the sweep. Okay, so in this slide, we show that we use a sweep by clicking on the sweep, the broom right here. And we actually indicated that we are highlighting the public relations email, and we're moving all the messages in our inbox to the public relations folder by clicking new folder here or going to a different folder. Okay, so that's how we do the sweep. All right, so next slide. I'm trying to get the last thing in here. All right, and the last thing that we may not have touched on, and you guys at the different schools may be using it, but you don't know how to create it, is a personal email group. Okay, so you can actually create your own personal email group where you can actually send and receive messages. You can have your own private or public email group, and you can manage attachments and files in there as well as share documents in here as well. All right, so I'm gonna go to the next slide real quickly. Okay, and I think I'm just gonna do it from here just for the sake of time, just so I can actually answer some of your questions. So in this section here, I'm gonna just go and show it from the slide. Basically, if you go in groups, if you go to groups on the left-hand side and you indicate new group under this section, you can actually create a personal email group, all right? So we click new group, and next slide. All right, and in this section now, this is where it would give you the option to create your group. Again, this is a personal group and it has to be unique. So it gives you the option to create your own name. So let's say you're a teacher at Woodson and you want to create your own personal Woodson group. You may not have Woodson's email group because that's probably used by the principal. So again, in this section, you want to make sure you have something unique that no one has. Okay, so we're actually sharing this between St. Croix and St. Thomas. So you want to have something unique. And in this section, you can actually add a brief description. You know, I highly feel that you need to actually add that in here because there's a whole lot of personal groups and this is where you can have confusion. So you want to basically add a description in here. Okay. And in this section, you can choose whether you want it to be, oh, went forward too fast. In this section, you can choose whether you want it to be public or private. All right. In most cases, people have it private. In some areas, you have it public. And we click on create. All right. So next slide. Okay. And then this section, this is where we add all the members. So of course, it's just like setting up an email. You can add your recipients here as members. You could select all, or you could select some and add some more later. So you can select some and then add. Next slide. All right, and once it's created, the groups will actually show up on the left-hand side right here. Okay, it will show you on the top right here how many members you have in your group. And if you shared any documents, this is where you would actually share your documents. Sorry.
In a workshop and you come in smelling so funky. You smell how you smell?
Excuse me, mute your mic.
Miss Tong, could you please mute? Hi there.
Mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. So in this section, you have the option of actually just dragging and dropping your documents in here. You can actually share that document with your members. So you can add attachments and also share, and it'll indicate whether or not you want to share or add it as an attachment. Okay. And then from here, you can actually send an email as that particular personal email group. All right. So when you created your email group, it's basically like having a second email address. All right. So in this slide here, I actually have it as Outlook training. So my email address will basically be outlooktraining@vid.vi. All right. This is just an example. I think I deleted it, but it will actually create your own email address for your personal email group. So in order to send email, you want to make sure you're actually, navigate to this Outlook training link here. And this is where you would send your emails, okay, to your members. Okay, this is where you would set your documents, and you could actually also set calendar events here as well. Okay. All right, so next slide. I think that just about covered it. All right, I know we can't cover just about everything, but that was basically the gist of some of the basic functions in Microsoft Outlook and some of the advanced that I touched on. I didn't have much time to go in depth, but I hoped I was able to cover as much as I needed to. All right, and then I'm ready here now to answer all your questions. I know you got plenty of questions now.
I have one and a comment.
Sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was so grateful for coming to this presentation because I'm glad that you shared that part of creating folders.
Yes.
So I can now know how to empty my mailbox. A question though that I had was, once the folder has been created, for example, I'll use the one that you use, public relations, will it automatically go in the folder, or that's something that I'm gonna have to input in the folder as the email comes in once I created that folder for it?
Okay, so that's a good question. Excellent question. All right, so if you create a rule, all the future emails that come from public relations, they would automatically go to that folder. But if you only do the sweep, the sweep is only going to sweep the emails that's incoming and that are in your inbox. All right, so sweeping will sweep all the emails of public relations that is in your inbox right now, and it will send it to the public relations folder. All right, a rule will make sure that it automates it where all the emails now go to your inbox now, and as well as, you know, you need to check your public relations folder to make sure you're receiving all the incoming mails now. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Any other questions, anyone?
Can you set the sweep for a time, a period?
No, you can't. No, you can't. A sweep is something instant. I guess you want to be able to automate it as well.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah, the rules are more of an automation. So I can set a rule where, you know, I can take particular emails and send it to a particular box, you know, the minute that they come in. That's the only automation that you have. But a sweep is actually just going to clean up those boxes. And, you know, I think that's your best bet. You want to make sure you're actually seeing what is sweeping in there and you could actually check it. So the automation sometimes could cause problems. So doing it one by one, you know, is recommended. All right, so you could actually see what messages are being sent to those folders.
Everybody can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Joe.
Okay, so basically, to recall a message, you will go into your sent items. You go to the sent items. You double click on the email you sent. And you go to actions. And you could click recall this message, or you can resend this message. When you recall, you can also tell it if you want to delete unread copies of this message, or delete unread copies and replace it with a new message, which I usually do if I wanted to. That way, it will delete all the copies and I will create a new one. Maybe I make a misspelling. There was a error in the email that I sent previously. And once you send it, it will remove all the messages that you send that hasn't been read. Now, this only removes messages that a person hasn't opened yet. If they read it already, it's not going to remove it.
Correct.
Anybody need to receive? Everybody understand how to do that? You have to do it from sent item. You can't do it from anywhere else because the email has already been sent.
Could you just go over the steps because I was writing it down? Can you?
Yeah, could you repeat the process, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll do that and I'll go a little bit slower.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
Awesome.
You have, like you can see, I have several folders and rules just like you were explaining before. But in your sent items is where all email goes to when it's already been sent.
Okay.
And that's the only place you could call a message because you can't recall a message you receive. You can only recall what you sent. So you just go to the email that you want to recall, regardless it's sent to one person or multiple people. You double click on that message and you should have a toolbar on the top that says actions button right under the rules button. So there's move, rules, OneNote, and actions. It's sometimes hard to find for some people. Under actions, you can edit the email or recall this message.
Okay, just so that they know, Joe, as well.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, this is under the Outlook application, okay? So if you don't have this installed, you cannot do this function, okay? We did the web version, so you must have the application version to actually recall this message, okay? So if you need that installed, you know, we could put in a ticket for us to actually put that in, to install that for you. We could actually install the application version for you, okay?
Most computers should have Microsoft Office, I would hope.
Most computers already have it, but if you do not have it, we can actually put that in. It does take some time to actually set up and populate all your emails in there, all right? But we can actually take another time to actually show you how to do that as well. Thanks for that, Joe.
No problem, that's it.
All right, any other questions? I want to make sure they have any other questions. We can actually answer any other questions.
Yeah, Mr. Williams in the chat. There are a few coming in there in the chat.
Okay.
Where can we get the record? Oh, that's something we'll send out to you. Joanna Dobbs says, is there a size limit for sending email attachments?
There actually is. I think it was at 20 meg, Joe. You remember exactly? I think it was 20 meg.
We capped it at 200 megs.
Oh, we capped it at 200? Okay, so it's actually up at 200 megs right now. So you're pretty good. You're pretty good. And I'm not sure if you guys are aware, you guys all have a 10 gigabyte email box, okay? So don't even worry about attaching files or big files in there. You guys are not even tapping 20% right now, okay? You guys have a very large box.
Just one correction with the license change. I think everybody has either 50 or 100 gigabyte mailbox.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. That's even better. That's even better. All right. So don't even worry about size. You guys are way up there in terms of size.
Sherry Warner says, I would like to learn more using the Save OneDrive. Using the Save OneDrive and some other apps in the Microsoft Office 365.
Okay, yeah, we could actually set that up at a later time. Definitely, I know there's a lot of functions in Microsoft Office, and we can work out, you know, doing a presentation on that. Sure, no problem.
Good day, VIDE family. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you found the information valuable to understanding the department's functions and beneficial to performing your job duties. You may access this presentation anytime by visiting vide.vi and clicking on the For Employees tab. Thank you.